Good morning. So I do that spin for Logan every week because Logan has requested it. That's not a blame. There's no blame in that. I'm saying that I do it in honor of you because you like it. Yeah. So good morning and welcome to Tucson New Thought. How is everyone this morning? Great. You are great. You are fantastic. I recognize and know that about each and every one of you. But let's start off. I'm going to invite you all to stand up, and we're going to start with one big family. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Again. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Hey, 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 hey. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Excuse me. That worked up something in me. This is not coffee, this is water, just to be really clear, because I know I've got a lot of energy, and sometimes I get asked the question, are you drinking coffee up there? It's water. Yeah, so welcome to Tucson New Thought. I'm Reverend Jonathan Zenz. I'm the founding spiritual director here at our lovely, beautiful spiritual community, and I'm so grateful that you've decided to spend your Sunday morning right here in this beautiful room with these beautiful people, and also knowing that we are alive and we are out into the world through our webcast as well. So I want to say good morning and welcome to everybody who's online watching us as well. We join together as a spiritual community every single week to know one thing and one thing only. What is that? What is that one thing that we are here to know? Magnificence. Love and magnificence. Well, that's two things. Everyone's like, I'm not quite so sure. Maybe it's love, maybe it's magnificence, maybe.
Whatever it's not, the other one.
Whatever it's not, it's the other one. That's funny. We're here to know that there is one power, one presence, one infinite creative resource that I choose to call love, and it is reflected in our expression of magnificence, right? So that is what we are here to know. We are here to know love and magnificence as one thing. The answer is love?
Love and magnificence.
Are you sure the answer is love?
It leads to magnificence.
So what was the question? Here's the thing. The answer is always love, irrespective of the question.
You set me up.
Forget everything.
It's gotten away from me, Christy. It's all, we're out of control this morning. Okay, so we are here with a vision. We have a vision at Tucson New Thought, and that is to create a world that works for everyone. We express and we see through to that vision by engaging our mission, which is to provide practical tools for personal transformation. And when we do that, we awaken humanity to its spiritual magnificence. And that is something that I know about every single person here. And what I would love for us to do is, if you are here for the first time, I'm not going to make you stand, but I would love for those of us who come here on a fairly consistent basis to just make eye contact with somebody who's new in the room today, and let's express to them what we know about them, and that is, you are magnificent. You are magnificent. And we know that about you because it is the infinite truth about each and every one of us. And you are simply a reflection of who we are. So let us all exclaim for ourselves, I am magnificent. I am magnificent. And that is the truth. We are here to connect, not just here at Tucson New Thought, but here on this plane of experience. We are here to connect in this world. And so what I would love for us to do is take a few minutes to stand up and make a connection with some of the people in the room and let them know how magnificent they are, but let's use our own words to express that. Come on in. So let's take a few minutes of expressing magnificence. And I do want to let everyone who is online know that I recognize you, I see you, I'm grateful for your presence here at Tucson New Thought in a virtual way, and just know that we feel your energy just as much here as if you were actually in the room, because you are actually in the room. I know that you are magnificent. Thank you for being here. And you are magnificent. As we settle in, after reflecting and understanding the magnificence of everyone who is in this community here today, and always, wherever we go, we can recognize the magnificence in all people. We're going to ceremonially honor all religious paths and faith traditions in this ritual that we do every week called lighting the flames of faith. And what we're doing here is we're lighting a candle for many of the faith traditions, and for each one that we light, we are recognizing that they are all rooted in that one golden thread of love. And so, we light a candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light a candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light a candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light a candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light a candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light a candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light a candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the divine will of love as the highest calling. We light a candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light a candle for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. We light a candle for all those who are as yet unaware of the power and presence of Spirit in their lives, and for the space that we are holding for them, and for all faith traditions unnamed in this ceremony. And this final candle we light is a candle to represent the healing of any circumstance that requires divinity to be revealed. For that is the true nature of healing, the revelation of divinity in any circumstance. This is your candle for whatever is in your mind and in your heart that requires illumination. The candle to your left is our peace candle, and we keep that illuminated with the understanding that peace is present as a light in our hearts. And as we understand this, we spread the experience of peace to all humanity, all over the world. And so let's honor the peace candle by reading together these words of James Dillett Freeman, slightly modified if you know the prayer. We have modified it. Together. Truly, the light of peace surrounds us. The love of peace enfolds us. The power of peace protects us. And the presence of peace watches over us. Wherever we are, peace is. And that is the truth. So I invite you to relax right where you are and let this peace fill your heart. We are held in the hands of grace, forever safe in the arms of love. Like a child receives protection from a mother's warm embrace, we are held in the hands of grace. We are held in the hands of grace, forever safe in the arms of love. Like a child receives protection from a mother's warm embrace, we are held in the hands of grace. I recognize here and now that there is one power, one presence, one infinite creative source that is reflecting and expressing itself by means of each and every one of us, for we are absolutely connected as spirit. There is nothing separate. And so this is how I choose to understand this movement forward. We are held in the hands of grace, forever safe in the arms of love. Like a child receives protection from a mother's warm embrace, we are held in the hands of grace. We are held in the hands of grace. I love that song. That song means so much to me, and I've talked about it in the past, so I don't need to rehash that, but it really touches my soul. And yeah. Someone else who consistently brings me great inspiration and touches my soul and has come to be a dear friend of mine, and I'm so grateful for her presence in my life, is our providing a reading and a reflection today and our affirmation. And all I can say is I'm just grateful. I am just grateful. And so please welcome Reverend Marvis Rodriguez. Okay.
wonderful. You trust me.
Of course I trust you.
Sometimes I come up here and I change it up a little bit. He does. He has no idea what I'm going to talk about today. Well, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm going to talk about hope. The word hope is used a lot in Christmas cards, and it's used a lot this time of year. In fact, it's used all year round. And I was touched by this little postcard I got from Doctors Without Borders. It says, health, hope, and happiness. And I just love those three words in a row. When there are letters, or when the letters are the same, and when the beginning letters of a word are the same, and there's several words in the sentence, that is called alteration. Alliteration. Thank you. Alteration. That's where you get your clothes done. I love the usage so much, health, hope, and happiness, that I'm going to use those three words in my Christmas cards. So if I send any this year. People don't send them much anymore. Religious science, Dr. Ernest Holmes, the founder of, has spoken, or at least written about, hope, and defines it as a subtle illusion. And sometimes I disagree with that, and sometimes I totally agree with that. For example, if you're speaking an affirmative prayer or making an affirmative statement about something positive that you want in your life, and you end it with, gee, I hope that works, you've just nullified everything you said. So I get that. It becomes a begging or a beseeching, and what the word hope actually has three meanings. It is used as a noun, a verb, and also as an adjective. In the example I just used, gee, I hope that works, or I hope my prayer comes true, it's a verb. It describes wishful thinking. Another example is, I hope this letter finds you well. And I say that because it brings a chuckle to me. I used to write Christmas cards in longhand before, computers and cell phones. And I would begin it by saying, I hope this letter finds you well and happy. And my husband would laugh and say, how can a letter find anyone well or anything otherwise? I said, okay, I get it. So as we're using it as a verb, where there's a wishing for an outcome. But how is hope used as a noun? It is to want something to happen and to believe with expectation that it could happen. Using hope as a noun is knowing it as truth. Example, he had renewed hope after receiving a Christmas card from his daughter, who he hadn't heard from in 20 years. There's an expectation of hope and of great joy. And if anyone has ever been told there's no hope, whether it regards health, a career, a financial matter, or a relationship, being told there's no hope is devastating. It brings fear, anxiety, it washes over us, and to say that there's no power in that word, hope, is nuts. It can be a powerful word. It can be used as an adjective as well, meaning For example, the teacher's hopeful words gave me optimism, meaning there's a promise of success, a hopeful prospect. That's the hope we must never lose sight of in our hearts, in our minds, especially at this time of year, at Christmas. We must give that hope to others. Just hearing that word hope used in a positive statement sparks a light of joy, of great and good expectations, of possibilities, something great and good to look forward to. Used in this way, hope is a prayer in actions. To paraphrase Dr. Holmes, I end with this quote. It stands to reason that if thought, faith, prayer, hope, and appreciation are anything at all, they are definite. And if they are definite, then they unquestionably must accomplish their desire. And so it is. Please join. There's an affirmation on screen here, and that affirmation is, I'm going to have to turn around and read it. I transmit my highest frequency joy at all times and in all ways. Let's say it together again, louder. I transmit my highest frequency joy at all times and in all ways. You guys have the job. That's great.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Hope. I agree with you.
Thank you.
I do, even though I was taught to disagree with you.
I was taught the same.
Right? Because that's what we are taught. But so I want to clarify, there's a quote that you referenced, the subtle illusion quote, and the quote reads, hope is good. That's how it starts. Hope is good. It's better than despair. But it is a subtle illusion and has no place in an effective mental treatment. I want to be really clear that he is talking about engaging the practice of spiritual mind treatment, and absolutely correct that hope does not belong in treatment. But if hope is where you are in your life, recognize it as good, and then get thee to a practitioner. Because they can know the truth for you to the degree that they don't live in hope. But if hope is where you are, that's the beginning point of healing. So I just want to be really clear that if you are in a place of hope around something in your life, honor that. I like to say hope is having only positive expectations. I always have a acronym for everything. This morning it was TRUST, to rely upon spiritual truth. And I'm going to rely upon spiritual truth right here and right now. I'm going to have a cup of water, and then I'm going to explain this by first saying I am so grateful to those of you who were able to come to our book launch gala on Tuesday. It meant a great deal to me to have you present there. And as I explained, I sang a song at the gala that just welled up through me, not a song I wrote, but it's a song that I have known, that welled up through me when I was reading the excerpts of Christy and Rick's book, as well as Eliza's book. And when I was reading them in preparation for the gala, I said, I think I have to sing this song because this is what's coming up through me. And so I did. And then we talked about it. Well, what song should we sing on Sunday? I'm going to sing the same song. So you're going to hear it for the second time. You didn't miss anything. But what I will say is this is now the second time I will have sung it publicly. And that's all I'm going to say for right now. Let me run through a field in the night. Let me lift from the ground till my soul is in flight. Let me sway like the shade of a tree. Let me swirl like a cloud in a storm on the sea. Wish me on my way through the dawning day. I wanna flow, wanna rise, wanna spill, wanna grow in a grove on the side of a hill. I don't care if the train runs late, if the checks don't clear, if the house blows down. I'll be off where the weeds run wild, where the seeds fall far from this earthbound town. And I'll start to soar. Watch me rain till I pour. I'll catch a ship that'll sail me astray. Get caught in a wind, I'll just have to obey till I'm flying away. Let me leave behind all the clouds in my mind. I wanna wake without wondering why, finding myself in a burst for the sky. Just roll, let me lose all control. I wanna float like a wish in a well, free as the sound of the sea in a shell. I don't care, but maybe I'm just a fool. I should keep to the ground, I should stay where I'm at. Maybe everyone has hunger like this, but a hunger will pass, and I can't think like that. All I know is somewhere in a clearing, there's a flickering of sunlight on a river long and wide. And I have such a river inside. Let me run through a field in the night. Let me lift from the ground till my soul is in flight. Let me sway like the shade of a tree. Let me swirl like a cloud in a storm on the sea. Wish me on my way through the dawning day. I wanna flow, wanna rise, wanna spill, wanna grow on the side of a hill. Wanna shift like a wave rolling on, wanna drift from the path I've been traveling upon before I am gone. Oh. Thank you. Yeah.
Isn't he magnificent?
Blew me away, Jonathan.
Thank you. Now I'll let you in on the secret. I don't personally feel I am in the best voice because I have been under the weather. I've been quite, well, I haven't been quite ill, but I've been fighting something all week since basically Wednesday. You know how you ramp up and you're doing all kinds of things. So last weekend, I had a show Friday night. I had a meeting on Saturday morning, and then 2 shows on Saturday, and then I had 2 shows Sunday morning, which I joke with my choir about. I'm like, I already did 2 shows before I came and did the matinee here today. And then I had a show, we had a matinee performance in choir with the choir that I sing with on Sunday. And there was still that anticipation of Tuesday is coming and I've got all these things to prepare for. And then we get to Tuesday and we do the thing on Tuesday night. And I got up on Thursday morning and I could barely move. And I did have this thought. I thought, I wonder if I'm coming down with something. Get thee to a practitioner. Know the truth. Well, for sure, by Thursday morning, I was like, well, my body is definitely fighting something. And here's the good news, my body is winning. Because I expect nothing less than pure, perfect expression of health. So this is, frankly, it's a very difficult song for a vocalist to sing. It's a very difficult song. It is also written for a tenor. I am not a tenor. I pretend.
You're an actor.
I am an actor. I am what they refer to as a lyric baritone. And what that means is that the vocal quality is the quality of a tenor, but I have a lower range. That's all that means. I've always loved this song. It's not, well, I mean, it's there, but I'm like, oh, that's not the song. That's the next song.
Good one, too.
Yeah, also a good one. I have always loved this song, and I was actually cast in a show where it was intended that I would sing that song, but I dropped out of the show because I had so much going on in my life that I just decided I couldn't take on one more thing. So I dropped out of that show, and there's a little part of me that's always regretted that. So I'm grateful that I've gotten to revisit and bring that song to light. But I say that, I'm not in the best voice that I think I should be at, and that's an opinion. It's a judgment around where I think I should be, because I didn't want to lead by saying that and let you all have the experience of what it was I was bringing to the table today. And from your response, I think it was good. It's very kind, thank you. Logan said it's probably the most powerful song I've ever heard here. It is a powerful song, and what it speaks to is that longing nature within each and every one of us that feels like we want, but we get held back. What are the things we get held back by? We get held back by the responsibilities. We get held back by the decisions of a community. We get held back by our family. Whatever it is that we get held back by, here's the truth, and this is a tough pill for many to swallow. We have decided to be in alignment with those things, and we do not have to live those experiences. We don't have to live those experiences. So if you're ready to take flight in your life, look at the ways in which you are being held down, in which your wings are being clipped by whatever it is, because I guarantee you it's all outside the self and it's just decisions you have made about those things. I look at the paradigm of everything that I've created in my life and think, to what degree is any part of it holding me back from what I truly want to be or express? And that's a challenge, because it holds that mirror up. It holds that mirror up and it says, you must be in a place to either deal with this, but if you don't deal with it, you will get what you've always gotten. This is starting to sound a little depressing.
Where's his joy?
Where's the joy? Well, I transmit my joy. I mean, essentially, I'm a very joyful person, right? I don't know if you've noticed. I'm a very joyful person. I'm bouncing off the walls with joy. All of this is rooted in the fundamental premise of this entire teaching, and I'm going to express it in what we call the divine principle. And it is actually, is there anyone who is in a class with me where I explained the divine principle? Well, I know that there are some people who were in class with me where I've explained the divine principle, but clearly you don't remember, so I'm going to remind you.
You're here to remind us.
I'm here to remind you. The divine principle is this. We are spiritual beings living in a spiritual universe governed by our use of a spiritual law of cause and effect. And you know what? I always like to say, this entire book, The Science of Mind, by Ernest Holmes, basically is hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pages to say that, and only that. We are spiritual beings living in a spiritual universe governed by our use of a spiritual law of cause and effect. So if I am a spiritual being, why would I ever relegate myself to thinking I am anything less? And yet we do that. We can do that. I do it still sometimes. If I'm living in a spiritual universe, why do I think that anything that is in my field of existence, the wall, any of it, why do I think any of it is not spiritual? Or to what degree do I recognize it as something other than spirit? Because here's what we teach. If spirit is infinite, then there can be nothing that is not spirit, because then spirit would be finite. Think about it. It's logic. And that is inclusive of each and every one of us. We are spirit. We are spirit. And we activate the expression of our lives through this thing called the law of cause and effect. So, if we know this, do we know this? Do we know this? This is not a rhetorical question. Yes. Do we know this? Yeah. Right? It's very easy to say, oh, well, I intellectually understand this, right? It's an intellectual understanding. But to what degree do we live it? To what degree do we embody that principle? I believe that the reason we seek out spiritual community is for the purpose of deepening our embodiment of the principle. That's why we are here. That's why we're here. What do you come to Tucson New Thought for on a Sunday morning?
You're entertaining.
I'm entertaining. Grateful that I'm entertaining. To be reminded of the truth. To be reminded of the truth. And the people who are, and to be around people who are like-minded, spiritual community. Yep. To be around people who are like-minded. There's a pitfall, I will say, though, in spiritual practice. Wouldn't probably expect a minister to say that on a Sunday morning. There is a pitfall to spiritual practice and spiritual community. And that pitfall is that sometimes we establish a detrimental attachment to something that we feel is beyond the self. We have created our faith in something, an organization or a community. We have settled our faith into something outside the self. And so community is wonderful, but always remember who you are. Really, every single service, remember who you are. So we can sometimes develop these attachments to wanting to be in a place that's entertaining, to wanting to come to a place because the music moves you, to whatever. Ultimately, it's all born of you. Tucson New Thought perhaps was a seed of an idea that was planted in my mind when I decided to return to Tucson, my hometown, to create an organization. But you are Tucson New Thought. You make up this community. And that is deeply, deeply important to understand. That if you were not here, I would be talking to a blank wall. But there is no reason to think that I have any greater wisdom than any one of you. The truth is, I think we come to spiritual community to understand what is at the core of our soul and to have it be expressed and illuminated. And it does so in things like the song Flight, which there is something about that song that just moves me. And I don't care if I sing the notes wrong. I don't care. I just don't care. Well, I mean, I do care, but I don't care. Christy cares. There is one note. There is that note, because this is the note that was supposed to be played. She actually changed it. This is the note that's supposed to be played in the accompaniment, and I'm supposed to sing this note coming out of the chord that's rooted in that note, right? And for the life of me, I couldn't get it, and so thank goodness, Christy said, I'm just going to change the chord. Don't tell the composer of the song. Because this is what you get. Right? Not pretty. But there's a reason for it in the grander scheme of the song, and I will get that song someday so that the proper chord can be played and I'll sing the right note. But if I attach myself to singing the note right, then I have disassociated myself with what is the feeling underneath the song. And that's what's important. That's what's important. In spiritual community, we can get stuck in a rut of righteousness. You ever experienced that in spiritual community? No? And that is, we think we're right. We think we have the answers to those questions, right? Oh, and here's what happens. We come into community because we all recognize that we have the right answer, right? Right? But I think it's time for us to root ourselves in doubt a lot more. Doubt is essential to personal growth. Doubt is essential to personal growth. It keeps us asking questions, and it stretches our understanding when we think we have found the answers. If we find the answer, but we doubt the answer, it's going to push us that much further into deeper understanding. Certainty closes doors, and I think we see this with many faith philosophies right now, where they are so certain they have closed themselves off. Doubt deepens faith. Doubt deepens faith. So what can we do? What can we do to deepen our faith? Let us question everything. Let us question everything. Deepen our detachment to what we think are the answers. Ernest Holmes was very clear. And yes, while I do utilize this because it does still inspire me, he said, if you're still teaching from this book in 50 years, you didn't understand what I was saying. We're still trying to understand what he was saying.
Yeah.
Right?
True.
But I think it's relevant to look at everything that we go to. You know, it is a go-to for me for illumination. But maybe perhaps it's time for me to become detached from that paradigm. Deepak Chopra wrote, "In detachment lies the wisdom of uncertainty. In the wisdom of uncertainty lies the freedom from our past, from the known, which is the prison of our past conditioning." We are imprisoned by our past conditioning. So in what way can we take flight by letting go of what we know? Attachment is looking for cause in the effect. Attachment is looking for cause in the effect. Do you understand what I'm saying there? That we're looking at all the things out there and we're saying, what's the truth of it all? Rather than saying, I am the truth of it all. Detachment is trusting that those effects come from cause, and we are cause. So the goal in spiritual practice then becomes what? That's a rhetorical question, unless you don't want it to be. I am open to knowing something I perhaps hadn't considered. So if something's coming up for you, let me know. The goal in spiritual practice becomes what?
Things to consciousness.
Sorry?
Bringing that up to consciousness.
Bringing things to consciousness, allowing an awareness to well up, allowing that intuitive nature that is within each and every one of us to well up, to know something more. That is the nature, I think, of spiritual evolution, which is why I didn't want to limit the idea of what Tucson New Thought could be in anything other than knowing that we are on a constantly unfolding, forward-moving experience. And so that's why this is a center for spiritual evolution. That's what I have chosen to call it. Now, I can look at life after. I can look at life before me, or I can be rooted in life now. What is my goal? What is my goal? So that was the goal. After, before, or now? And I guess I probably should have put a question mark there. Because really, what is the question? I choose today, and I invite you to do the same thing with me, to have a blank page before me. What are you going to write on that page? Everything that has preceded, those things after me, I guess actually before me, after me, before me, whatever is in the past, it's an easier way of, those things, those pages are filled. So now I ask, what now? What now? Everything we experience, everything in the world of form, that's just a demonstration. That's what we call it, a demonstration of that which is in mind. When we renew our relationship to the circumstances of our life, and that is to say, when we step back from thinking we know, we move into a place of doubt. When we renew our relationship to those things, life can open up for each and every one of us. So what are you open to with respect to the possibility in your life? What are you open to with respect to the possibility in your life? Can you do so through detaching yourself from the thing you think you know? Oh. Today I had to relinquish my need to show up in a certain way. And in doing so, I think that I developed a capacity to express in a magnificent way that would not have been realized if I had not let go of the way I thought I needed to show up. And it was very affecting in our rehearsal today. It was very affecting in our rehearsal today. Christy and I, we both had a very deep emotional response to the first time I sang that song this morning. It just kind of like overwhelmed us. So when we relinquish our need for our life and our experience to show up in a certain way, what are we left with? I think we're left with truth. I think we're left with a deeper understanding of the divine principle that we are spiritual beings. But to truly embody that, we must relinquish our desire to hold on to the way we think things should be. We are living in a spiritual universe. There is nothing other than spirit, so how is it possible that we could live in anything but the spiritual universe? And then we get to take charge and create our lives in exactly the way we would like. And isn't that the whole point of the science of mind and spirit? To create our lives in accordance with the way we would like things to be. To do that, we have to understand our true identity as God. And fully welcome the you that shows up in that. Warts and all. Because sometimes God doesn't show up in a way that feels very good as us. I have done things that are not in alignment with being the, spiritual magnificence that you see before you on a Sunday morning. Shocking, I know.
Hold on, I need a drink.
Did you just say you need a drink? Not to judge, but isn't it a little early? All right, so here's the big question. I'm gonna bring it down to the real, right? The nitty-gritty, because I've been very highfalutin and and the thought and the right? Are you actively participating in changing the things you want to change in your life?
Yes. Sometimes.
Sometimes. I bet there's a lot more sometimes out there than there are yeses, because everyone is, I want teacher to be happy. So I'm gonna say yes. Is it true that you are actively participating in changing the things you can change? Yeah. Are you aware of the things you can change? Yeah. What are the things that you can change? Everything. So is there any place, this is going to now move into the rhetorical, because some people may feel a little uncomfortable admitting this out loud. Is there anything you believe exists in your life that you cannot change? Rhetorical. Well, okay. Then my work is done here. Let's go home.
Well, that was just one person that said.
Mm-hmm.
That was rhetorical.
So, one of the things that I've alluded to a little bit is my challenge in my own life to the things that I feel I can't change. And that is expressed itself by means of this idea that I have in my life, and I know this will come as a deep shock to many of you. I have conceived of myself as a perfectionist. Shock? It was my sister, she'll tell you. Right? And that conceptualization has posed major challenges for me in my life. Has anyone else been afflicted by that notion of perfectionism? I was challenged by my notion of perfectionism in our concert last week. Right? One of the things that happens is we rehearse for what, 3 months? We rehearsed that concert for 3 months. We go to rehearsal once a week, and I basically, you're not hearing this, and if anybody in Reveille is hearing this, ignore it for a moment. I don't really work that much outside of our once a week rehearsals, because I catch on to a lot of it pretty well and pretty easily. But there's a choral paradigm in this particular organization that I sing with that is a challenge for me because it was not the paradigm in my previous choir, and that is we memorize all our music for our concerts. Whereas in my previous choir, we would stand up there with our black folders and our tuxedos and we would sing, right?
Boring.
Right? Oh, we did choralography as well.
With your book?
With our book, yes. Yeah. So here's the deal. It's good for me to work that part of my brain, to memorize the music. And I actually do enjoy it. But it's not what I'm used to anymore in my life. Now, it's also me saying that having come from becoming a minister after I was an actor for 20 years. There's a lot of memorization when you're an actor.
I'm thinking.
But the challenge to my comfort zone in a choral setting was immense. And so I had a lot, like especially last spring's concert, I had a lot of challenge in memorizing that stuff. So, and here's the thing about comfort zone. There's one thing that you can find in your comfort zone: the past. That's it. There's one song that just tripped me up every single week, every single show, every single time we sang that song, it tripped me up, except the very last time I got it all right. On Sunday's matinee, right? Because I could never tell if it was Break the Frozen Heart or Beware the Frozen Heart. I couldn't tell you what the lyrics, I can't tell you what the lyrics are now. You recognize this with me, don't you, Logan?
But I could probably tell you what the lyrics are on that one.
I think we all have our own song.
We do have our own songs.
Yeah, that song, and the thing is, it's only about 16 bars of that song that we were doing, so it was a pretty short cut of that song. And I never knew what the heck I was supposed to sing. Now, the perfectionist that I once was would have walked away from every single one of those concerts where I messed it up and I would have started flagellating myself. Mea culpa, I am culpable, right?
What?
You mean no Catholics in the room?
Even some of us non-Catholics.
Right?
Oh, sometimes I'm grateful for my shelter.
The perfectionist in me would have started beating myself up over it. But I understand now. The moment is in the past. So that page is written and will always be what it was. But I am standing here with a new blank page. So what is my goal? To live in the past, to worry about the future, or live in the now? Now, I've changed my thinking around perfectionism. And I don't consider myself a perfectionist any longer to the degree that it was detrimental to my way of being. But I do appreciate my experience of life as a specificist. I like to be specific. I like to take the time to do the things in a way that I would like to do them because I'm in charge of that. I'm not letting the circumstances be in charge of me. And that's how I understand the difference. Perfectionism is me letting the circumstances be in charge of me rather than me being specific in the way that I would like to experience the circumstances. So I think of myself as a specificist. Now, I made up that word. It's a good word. It's a good word. I was able, in the concert last week, to let go of that moment, to move on to the next and trust that all was well. Because here's the thing. That was the very first song in the show.
It was our opening.
that was our opening song. I had a lot more music to sing that day. And then I also, so this is neither here nor there, but it was Saturday night, and I was so exhausted Saturday night. And we got to the point where I sang a solo in the show of this song, and it was the third to last song in the show. And the song right before it was Reverb, which is the 9-voice choir, that a cappella group. And so they were singing that song, and I was standing there while they were singing their song right before I'm supposed to go on and sing my solo, and all I could think was, I don't remember any of the lyrics to the solo.
Me. I know that feeling.
And I was like, the fear in me is welling up. I'm thinking, I'm not going to be perfect. I don't need to be perfect, but I'm not going to be perfect. I don't need to be perfect. Just allow yourself to be in this specific moment. Enjoy the song that's happening and trust to rely upon spiritual truth that all that needs to come through will come through. And you know what? It did. Brayton, yeah, I guess, yeah. Brayton's our conductor. He very sweetly was always very positive about my solo in that show. Anyway, So, I understand myself as a specificist, able to let go of that moment. And here's what that brings up for me, is the more I can let go of attachment to anything in my life, the more I can write the script for what is to be right in this moment. Chopra, again, I'm going to repeat this. And in our willingness to step into the unknown, the field of all possibilities, we surrender ourselves to the creative mind that orchestrates the dance of the universe. Actually, now that I'm reading it, I don't think I read it before, even though it was in my notes. In our willingness to step into the unknown, the field of all possibilities, we surrender ourselves to the creative mind that orchestrates the dance of the universe. I like to call these just moments in the woods. They're just moments in the woods. And there's a song that is not really easy to do on a Sunday called Moments in the Woods, that's from the musical Into the Woods. And there's a point at which it's a back and forth at the beginning of the song where a prince is speaking to the baker's wife, and they've just had a tryst. Yes. And she's kind of freaked out about it, and he's just saying, oh, well, it's all okay because I'm a prince, right? There's this moment where he says this, and this is a line that has always really touched me, and this is why I call all those things moments in the woods. And he says this, leave the moment. Just be glad for the moment that we had. Every moment is a moment when you're in the woods. What a call to each and every one of us to just let go. To let go. So what are we seeking? What is it that we are seeking? I think in attachment, we are seeking stuff. We're seeking things. We're seeking security. Are we living, or are we spending time getting ready to live? Are we living, or are we spending our time getting ready to live? I know that there's a paradigm in this culture that everybody is looking forward to that day we retire. And to me, that's not living. That's saying, oh, at some point in the future, I may actually get to enjoy my life. Why not enjoy it now? Why not enjoy it now? Attachment becomes our prison. It becomes our prison. I have had many a discussion to those who rigidly hold on to an ideal, recognizing that it is detrimental, but unwilling to let it go. Nobody in this room. That's nobody in this room. When we surrender our attachment, we step into the infinite possibility. So, how do you know if you are attached to something? There's one great question. This is part of what I'm going to offer you as a practical tool you can take with you. There's one question you can bring up to know if you are attached to something in your life, and it is this question. Am I worried about this? Am I worried about this? The answer clues you in to the level of your attachment. Attachments can only be defined by our past. So, what is the goal? After, before, or now? Now. Let yourself live rather than spending the time to get ready to live. 3 steps to practical application. 1, release any concept of how things should be. As I said to somebody at my table on Tuesday night, we can mess up our lives by shoulding all over ourselves. Release any concept of how things should be. Do not force solutions to problems. Usually, those forced solutions are based in the past. Relax, let go, and allow. And number 3, allow uncertainty. Allow uncertainty. Here's the deal. It's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be uncomfortable at first. But it ultimately leads to infinite freedom. And what I love to do in any given situation to allow uncertainty is to approach everything with this question in mind. I know nothing. Now what can I know? I know nothing. Now what can I know? Right and wrong don't matter in the woods. Only feelings. Let us meet the moment unblushed. Best to take the moment present as a present for the moment. Namaste. I should actually acknowledge that last piece is a quote from Into the Woods, so I should acknowledge that was written by Stephen Sondheim.
Not an endorsement to cheat on your spouse.
No. Unless that's your paradigm. It's only if you decide that it's cheating. Would you do me the favor of joining me up here? Oh, wait, I have to sing a song. No. See, the perfectionism in me, once upon a time, would have beat myself up for forgetting that I have a song to sing. So.
You just gotta let it go.
Let it go. I'm letting it go. I'm surrendering. So whatever has come up for you, let it be present. Surrender, let it go. Surrender, let it all go. All the fears, all the doubts, all the pain. All the wounds, feelings of being alone. Surrender, let it go. Taking a breath. Right in this moment, I let go of the past. I let go of any anticipation for what is to come. And I allow myself to be in the here and now with this understanding that there is only one power. There is only one source. There is spirit and nothing else. And so we are spiritual beings living in a spiritual universe governed by our use of a spiritual law of cause and effect. As I identify my beingness as this infinite creative power and trust and know this to be so for each and every one of us, for every single person I encounter, I live in the deepest faith that my life is unfolding perfectly, that our lives are unfolding perfectly. And we needn't burden ourselves with any anticipation for what we think things should be. We live in the perfection of here and now with love rooted in our hearts. I know that all is unfolding gracefully and easefully. I know this to be so. I relax into this, and I let go of anything unlike it. I welcome the good and trust. And it is with deep gratitude in my heart that I do so. As I breathe, relax, let go, allow, and live in the flow. As together we say, and so it is. Don't you know life is here? Don't you know light is here? Don't you know love is here? Let it all go. Surrender the doubts and the fears. Let it all go. Thank you. Now, if you would please welcome Carrie Munn Pierce. There you go.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. I know you've been here for almost an hour, but I'm going to welcome you to Tucson New Thought and let you know that this community is entirely supported by your generosity. And what a beautiful thing it is, really. I mean, having been in the first moments where it started in my living room, and then, when was it, March 18th, 2018, and then back to my back porch, and then to various places around town, and to finally arrive in this beautiful setting. Just know that as you come and be part of this amazing community, as it continues to grow, just that ripple effect that it creates into not just the Tucson community, but into this world. And so I invite you now to take out your investment, your gift, your tithe. Doesn't matter what you call it, but what matters is that we're sharing the energy of love. And for the technical details, you can always give cash, check, credit card. We've got little swipers and things. If you're online, there's a very easy button right there. If it's happens to not be there today, which happens occasionally, but probably is, there's also go to TucsonNewThought.org, and we are grateful for your connection, support. So as you hold on to this, I honor your commitment to our mission and vision, and I'm grateful for the blessings you share. So I would love to have you join me in reciting our divine givingness statement. Let's say it together. Divine love consecrates my gift. It goes forth to heal, prosper, and bless. It is evidence of my conviction that spirit is the source and substance of my supply. I joyously contribute to the vision of my spiritual center, knowing that it returns to me multiplied abundantly. And my favorite part of that was such a great aha is, the line that says, I joyously contribute to my spiritual center. And at one point, Jonathan pointed out that there is this spiritual center, and then there's this spiritual center. So each time I hear that, I ground into both. Thank you.
So William is going to pass the basket, so to speak. Actually, not so to speak, literally pass the basket. He's literally passing the basket. There are a couple of things that I want to let you know about. First of all, I have decided, the royal we. I decided that I wanted to do a teze again this month because I had such a wonderful response to the last one when we did it right before Thanksgiving. So we're going to do a solstice-themed teze this coming Wednesday at 6 p.m. right here in this room. Do you not know what teze is? I'm going to tell you. It's a time of contemplation. A teze-style gathering mixes music, poetry, quiet meditation, all in an experience to allow us to deepen into our sense of self and our sense of connection to the whole. And so I invite you to join us on Wednesday as we, a couple days in advance, honor the shortest day of the year in the Northern Hemisphere, and begin to welcome back the light. It's going to be an amazing night. It's going to be an amazing night. Yeah. Also, we do recycle our programs. We reuse them. So if you're welcome to take the handouts. If you would prefer to not take them, we ask you to leave them on the table, and we will reuse them next week. Also, if you have a request for prayer support, there are prayer request forms on the table there, and you fill out the request, put it into the yes box, and you can know that the healing has begun when the moment that you've written down that prayer. Also, if you're joining us for the first time today, we would love to include you on our email list. If you are willing to give us your email address, we will give as a gift for you 5 pre-recorded prayers that I have developed for use in the primary areas of your life, and you can listen to them, you can download them, you get the link for them the minute we put your name on the list. So that is available to you as well. Elaine is asking me to announce her holiday solstice gathering, which is on the 21st, and there are flyers on the table there. 21st begins so doors open at 5:30, begins at 6 sharp. I have been asked to sing there, so I'll be singing a song, and the address is on there as well. Also, Christy and I are happy to offer you, if you would like to purchase our books that we launched on Tuesday night, they are available here for you as well. Am I forgetting anything? No. William, let's just take this moment of reflection and understanding right here that what is in this basket is a blessing, and it is an experience of love that is moving through this time in this place, and it is reflective of this community and the willingness to share this vision of creating a world that works for everyone. I am so grateful for all that has been collected here. I know that it does magnificent work in this time through this organization and in this space, and that the utilization of these funds is done so with the highest integrity of the leadership of this organization as well. And so in deep gratitude, I simply trust in this flow. I let it be so and release this word, knowing it to be the truth, as together we say, and so it is. Thank you. I want to say thank you to William for helping out with our collection today. I want to say thank you to Aiden, who, as always, is doing a magnificent job on our technical aspects of the Sunday experience and getting us out online, and say, again, thank you to everybody who's watching online. I want to say thank you to Britt for providing our snacks today for our social time following the service. It looks like it's a great, it's always so great. But thank you for providing our hospitality today. Jaya, thank you for being our greeter today. Marvis, thank you for your inspiration. So blessed to have you in this community and always inspiring me. So thank you for that. Christy, what can I say? I am so grateful for you in my life, and I'm so grateful for what you bring to this experience every single Sunday.
Thank you. And we are all grateful for John.
Thank you. Well,
For holding space.
I am grateful for all of you, because again, this would be nothing without you. I'd be talking to a wall. So thank you for showing up and supporting this vision. We're going to kick it up a notch just a bit, and we're going to end the day with Here We Stand.
The word has been spoken, the songs have been sung. Our hearts have been opened together as one. Center of creation, we are divine congregation. We are no separation. We are. Here we stand, the power of one hand in hand. We shine like the sun. Here we stand, together as one family. Here we stand. The truth has been spoken, the message received. hearts have been opened to what we believe. Center of creation, we are. Divine revelation, we are. No separation, we are. We are. Here we stand, to power of one hand in hand. We shine like the sun, here we stand, together as one family. Here we stand, the power of one hand in hand. We shine like the sun, here we stand, together as one family. Here we stand, here we stand, here we stand, here we stand. Make it a great week, everyone. Thank you so much.